So I admit it, I didn't really expect very much. In fact, I was fully prepared to dismiss it as just another AI gimmick, a shiny distraction from real user research. But after experimenting with the use of AI generated personas, or synthetic personas as they're being called, I found myself in a strange new territory, being genuinely impressed. If you're skeptical, trust me, I get it. Personas traditionally demand significant legwork. User interviews, surveys, digging through analytics, and cutting corners can feel uncomfortable and even downright reckless. Yet, despite my reservations, the AI method delivered insights deeper and richer than I anticipated. But let me slow down for a second. What exactly am I talking about? Well, recently I carried out some AI-driven persona research, and the method is pretty straightforward. First, you prompt AI to do deep research into your target audience online. You ask it to dig into questions that users might have, tasks that they might want to try and accomplish, and their emotional state, what's influencing their perceptions, and so on. And next, you then instruct it to distill the mass of data into clear, structured personas. No manual research needed, no lengthy user interviews, no distributing surveys, and definitely no trawling through endless analytics reports. On paper, this all feels like a dream, but it also feels a bit risky, doesn't it? After all, we're skipping the very essence of UX, truly understanding real people. And that's exactly why I approached it cautiously. Here's what surprised me though. While the AI didn't independently generate personas that I hadn't even considered, it did ask incredibly insightful questions about my target audience that prompted me to explore additional user segments. As we discussed each potential persona, it suggested ways to add more depth and nuance to my initial ideas. And during a recent client project, this questioning approach led me to expand beyond my basic buyer personas. The AI prompted me and helped me flesh out variations that I might have otherwise glossed over, like the specific concerns of, for example, a nervous first-time buyer. Because creating additional personas was so effortless, I ended up developing a much richer, more nuanced set of user personas than I had originally planned. In short, I got a lot more of a detailed picture into my users, and it took a fraction of the usual research time. So, should you trust synthetic personas? Well, the honest answer is not entirely. AI is scouring the web for data, but it's not using human empathy or intuition or nuance. It's excellent at synthesizing large amounts of data, but struggles with subtleties like hidden motivations or evolving emotional context. Still, as a starting point, is incredibly impressive. Think of synthetic personas as a sophisticated first draft, but it's still going to need human validation to avoid slipping into clever illusions. And the thing is that people don't always express their true needs and desires online. What appears in the digital space is just a fraction of the human experience. This limitation becomes even more pronounced when dealing with niche products or services. There simply might not be enough relevant data online for AI to generate meaningful personas. Without sufficient training data, these synthetic personas risk becoming oversimplified or misaligned with actual user needs. And that's why validation becomes so crucial. One of the most effective ways to ensure that your synthetic persona reflects reality is to share them with actual end users for feedback. Do these AI-generated profiles genuinely represent their experience, and if not, how does it differ? This real-world validation can highlight gaps or misconceptions in your synthetic persona while providing valuable additional insights. And even if direct access to the end user proves challenging, there's still room for validation. Internal stakeholders who regularly interact with your target audience, such as customer service representatives or sales teams or account managers, can provide valuable feedback on how well your synthetic personas align with the day-to-day observations of real users. Their practical experience can help refine and ground your AI-generated profiles in reality. But there's another critical downside here. Synthetic personas create a barrier between you and your users. One of the most rewarding aspects of UX is direct interaction with people. Face-to-face conversations, interviews, and observational research not only gives you authentic insights, but it also helps you genuinely empathize. When you're relying solely on AI personas, you miss out on that human connection. Your understanding becomes theoretical rather than experiential. This lack of direct interaction can subtly but significantly impact your ability to truly empathize with users' genuine struggles, needs, and aspirations. In short, synthetic personas shouldn't replace direct conversations, but should complement them. So where do I land on all of this? I believe that synthetic personas have genuine value that can enrich your UX toolkit, provided they're handled responsibly. Used thoroughly, they can offer a fast track to initial insights without sacrificing too much depth. But, and this is a big but, they're not an endpoint. Think of AI-generated personas like you would working with an intern. While it can be valuable and insightful, you still need to review and validate their output before making any significant decisions based on it. So yes, give synthetic personas a try. Embrace them as part of your toolkit to kickstart your UX strategy, spark ideas, and streamline your research flow. Just don't forget that UX is ultimately about real human experiences, not clever AI illusions. Because in UX, shortcuts can save time, but real connections will always win out.